Welcome guys. Latest game DICE's studio means Battlefield 2042 failed to satisfy fans of the series, contrary to predictions, and we will continue to look at the reasons for this. Battlefield 2042 was recently released publicly, and before that those who had purchased the Ultimate version of the game managed to experience it about a week earlier than others. Of course, there were several problems with the trial version before the global launch of the game, and it seemed that the game's development process was not over. In the following, we will look at the 15 weaknesses of the game that gamers are complaining about. Hovercrafts. It is not clear to anyone that different vehicles are always recognized as a strong point in Battlefield games, and gamers are quite happy to have them in the titles of this series. But on the counterpoint, there's a new vehicle in Battlefield 2042 that can easily strike the balance of races. In this game, hovercrafts can stick to different levels and climb skyscrapers. Also, this vehicle alone has high power and can easily deal with other vehicles, even helicopters. Scrubboard. Now it's time for the game's underlying problems, and we're seeing weaknesses that DICE Studios could simply cover. We start from the scrubboard, which is primarily dedicated to announcing the results and details of gamers in a competition. Also, the number of in-game robots is also determined through this scrubboard, and the performance of other gamers is available through it. But unfortunately, none of the above are included in the Battlefield 2042 game script. And if you want the facts, the purpose of this scrubboard design is ambiguous for us at all. Lack of a part to monitor your performance. But more ridiculous than the game's screenboard is that gamers can't even monitor their performance and information in the game. In fact, reviewing the number of kills and assists in all shooter multiplayer games is one of the most basic acts, and unfortunately in Battlefield 2042, this feature is not available. Specialists. Just like the trial version of the game, specialists turn racing and battles of the game into a full-sense mess. These people can master any weapon and tool and somehow make the competition unbalanced. They can control turrets, hack vehicles, use wingsuit and generally question all game classes. Unavailable to list of servers. Using browsers from different game servers, it is possible to connect to the desired server and manually select different quiz. Unfortunately, this feature is not available in this game for some reason, and Battlefield 2042 will decide for you in this regard. Therefore, there will be no way to choose your favorite battles and you have no control over the map and the mode you plan to play. Deplorable interface. While some of the game beta version interface problems have been corrected, including the addition of blue dots to show your allies within certain ranges, things remain deplorable in this regard. Apart from the sheer turmoil of the game, there is a pesky pop-up banner at the top that will constantly annoy you. Not considering a transparent mode for overlapping different markers also makes the numbers and writings on the screen extremely annoying. Lack of different options for character game movements. Battlefield 2042 game requires a multiplicity of gestures from its characters more than any other game. In particular, despite the ability to switch clips in targeting mode, there is a need for movements such as bending, slow walking, crawling backwards and so on, which unfortunately none of them exist in this game. Of course, maybe it's meant to encourage gamers to play the game more quickly, but it certainly won't welcome the temperament of many gamers. Sounding. One of the most annoying flaws in Battlefield 2042, which existed in both the trial and the final version, is the very bad and strange sounding of the game. How is it possible that a battlefield of this magnitude is quietly and silently engulfed? On the other hand, the lack of directional sound design in the game makes it impossible to find the location of your enemies even using the highest quality headsets. Low environmental degradability. The game looks very beautiful with its vast maps and various natural disasters including tornadoes. However, the overall rate of environmental degradation of the game is very low. Considering that degradability has been one of the perennial principles of this series and we have witnessed it in almost all titles of this series, the amount of it in Battlefield 2042 seems very small. Lack of medic nearby marker. The medic class is the only class in the game where specialists are unable to perform their activities, namely revive other gamers, and for some reason, DICE Studio has decided to accelerate the process of death and return to the game by removing the medic nearby marker. In this game, it becomes much harder for gamers and gamers who need help, and it won't be clear whether someone will eventually come to them or if they have to give up. Of course, given the unprecedented of gamers today's studios in this regard, this very simple feature is likely to be added to the game during the upcoming update. Excessive dispersion of shots fired. It is not possible to hit all bullets in a barrage mode, either in the real world or in video games, but there are also standards that should not be crossed. Unfortunately, in this game, the bullets will be severely dispersed after a certain distance and will hit the targets hard. However, for unspecified reasons in this game, SMGs can hunt targets more accurately than long-range guns. Limited customization of vehicles. As mentioned earlier, the vehicles in this game, except the hovercrafts, are fantastic, but the strange thing is that they will be severely constrained in terms of personalization. In fact, the earlier games of this series provided us with a variety of features for personalizing vehicles, and DICE's studio lack of focus on this area for Battlefield 2042 seems very strange. Team management. Teams can be freely formed in Battlefield games, but surprisingly, there is no freedom of action in Battlefield 2042. Also, switching your team also requires referring to the list of gamers, and most bizarrely, you can't even choose the team you want. Lots of cutscene and transitions. Recently, a user named Len_4RT from Reddit tried to count the number of cutscenes and transitions of the Battlefield 2042 game before and after a battle began. Before a battle begins, various cutscenes and transitions are depicted for battle search, loading, a random cutscene, loading into the game map, presenting a presentation of the team, presenting a presentation of the map, displaying a larger version of the map, the final cutscene, and a demonstration of the deployment of gamers on the map. Yes, all of these items will be displayed before a battle starts, and after the battle, cutscenes and transitions from the top 3 operators, team statistics, random statistics, progress rate and loading screen will be displayed, and then you will be able to return to the main menu of the game. Bugs, bugs and again bugs. Now, it's time to list the technical problems of the game. The performance of the game on 8th-gen consoles is literally space-intensive, and the optimization of the PC's version is also very poor. Even with RTX 30 series graphics cards, you will still face a variety of problems running the game. On the other hand, the game's gamers during race found have become a meme on social media today, and not being able to shoot from certain places is another wonder of the game. Unfortunately, many studios today, especially online game developers, have no fear of an incomplete supply of their titles, encouraging gamers to wait for different updates to be released. Battlefield 2042 is no exception, and despite my own personal desire to experience this game, I have not yet taken action to do this, and I suggest you not to go to the experience of this game until further notice and before the release of the big updates. Battlefield 2042 game, available to Xbox Console X, S Series, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and PCs.